We're back with another Christmas segment here on Pop Goes the 60s, and I want to get started with a great song by Roy Orbison called Pretty Paper. And this was a Willie Nelson song that, as the story goes, Willie Nelson was in Texas when he was younger, and there was a guy who was a disabled guy who couldn't walk or didn't have his legs, and he would sell paper and pencils outside of the department store. And he would shout out, pretty paper, and that's what inspired Willie Nelson to write that great song. Orbison had a hit with it. It charted on the Adult Contemporary chart and on the Christmas chart, and it was released only on his More Greatest Hits in '64.
Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue.
So the next song is from Peter, Paul and Mary. It's from their last album of the decade, '69, called Peter, Paul and Mommy. And this was basically a children's album. And the song on here, Christmas Dinner, is featured.
And it came to pass on a Christmas evening while all the doors...
Another huge folk act in the 60s were the New Christy Minstrels. Now this was a big ensemble folk group. They had a couple of rather big hits like Chim Chimmery. This is their first Christmas album that came out in '63. And the Minstrels were noted, probably more notable for the people that came from that band that joined other bigger bands or became more famous later. Three of those people are on this cover. One is Barry McGuire, who had the #1 single, Eve of Destruction. Over here we have Gene Clark, singer-songwriter for the Byrds, and then Larry Ramos from the Association. So the song on here that's I really like is called One Star.
One star, one shining star in the heavens above.
Now, the next Christmas album they did was from 1966. It's called Christmas with the Christies. And this album has the song We Need a Little Christmas from Mame.
For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinning. Yes,
So We Need a Little Christmas was a pretty big hit, covered by a lot. Now this is an album by the Gold Diggers. This is Dean Martin's dance troupe. They had a couple albums, both in '69, and this is, I think, the second one. And I picked this up cheap somewhere, but I thought this was kind of a unique one. I haven't listened to it yet, but maybe I will this Christmas. All right, sliding over from folk to country, we have Glen Campbell's That Christmas Feeling. This is from 1968. This came out simultaneously with the Wichita Lineman album. And so he was hot at the time. The song Christmas is for Children became a hit on the Christmas chart, but also I think on the contemporary chart as well.
Christmas is for children.
Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass did their own Christmas album. And on here there's a song called The Bell That Wouldn't Jingle. It's a Burt Bacharach song.
Then Santa soon discovered the reason that it cried, the bell that couldn't jingle.
Okay, here's an obscure one that I found. It's by a group called The Christmas Spirit. And this was released on the White Whale label. And there's members of the Turtles involved here. And it was written by Howard Kaylan of the Turtles and Chip Douglas, formerly of the Modern Folk Quartet, who was producing them. And also on this recording is Graham Parsons, later of the Byrds, Gene Parsons, later of the Byrds, Linda Ronstadt, Cyrus Faryar and Henry Diltz of the Modern Folk Quartet, plus gospel singer Bessie Griffin.
Christmas time is right around the corner. I've been waiting one.
Now the B-side is called Will You Still Believe in Me? And I like that song even better. And you can really hear Linda Ronstadt in that version.
Special way that I still love you. Will you still believe in me?
What's notable is the song Christmas Is My Time of Year. That was re-recorded in 1976 by the Monkees, by Peter Tork, Mickey Dolenz, and Davy Jones under the name We Three Monkeys, and it was released then as well. All right, we have a few left here in the pile. Who could forget Snoopy and his friends, the Royal Guardsmen, with Snoopy's Christmas, where basically they take the Red Baron song and redo that song for about 4 different singles. But takes me back to my childhood, that's for sure. We've got The Ventures here, an instrumental Christmas album. This is actually a pretty good record. Still in print today, you can get it on CD. So too, can you get the Barbra Streisand Christmas album? And it's a little jazzier, and she was, you know, this was an adult contemporary hit, and this sold quite well. And the Four Seasons even had a Christmas album. And not as good as some of the other ones we featured here today, but very nice cover. And if you like the Four Seasons, this is an easy one to find cheap. So I'd like to finish this up by one, well, kind of a garage song, like punkier song by the Sonics. So I think we're going to close it right there. I do believe in Christmas, and I hope you all have a great Christmas. Check us out here for the other Christmas videos I've done here on Pop Goes the 60s, and we'll see you next time. Merry Christmas.